Okay, right, let's begin. So this is our second language paper that we've done. Okay, so this is from November 2018. So remember please, first thing to understand is how long you have for the exam. So follow along with me please. So we have got 1 hour 45 minutes. Now in terms of advice on how to break this down, we should be looking for 15 minutes, which is for reading. Okay, 45 minutes for section A answers. Now again, the idea is we should be spending that 15 minutes reading, and planning our answers. Okay, if you need 20 minutes to do that, that's probably fine, but it's important that we do all of our planning before we start writing anything out. Okay, then we've got 45 minutes for section B, which is our creative writing part. Okay, so when you go into the exam, it's really important that you make sure you manage your timings. Okay, the key with the exam is to finish the whole exam. Okay, don't spend A's on section A and not do section B very well, because you will lose out overall. Okay, so as part of this exam, we get 2 extracts. So find your insert book. Let's have a look at what we've got to read. So source A, which is the modern source. So remember, you always get 1 modern, either 20th or 21st century, and you get 1 historical. And again, our job is to compare what these sources are talking about. Okay, so it's a comparison. Remember that we have the same topic, we have different times. So how do people in the Victorian period versus the modern day era think about issues around topic? Today's topic, as you can see, is cyclists. So we've got cyclists. So 21st century non-fiction, all cyclists fear bad drivers. An article, so that's the headline there. An article published by The Guardian in 2016. Okay, so we've got an article. So straight away we should be thinking to ourselves, what is an article? Okay, articles are opinion pieces. They are about big issues, like big, broad, wide audience. Okay, now again, we can probably assume that it's going to have quite a modern view on cycling. Okay, probably very, very pro-cycling, anti-driving perhaps. Okay, 19th century literary non-fiction, on a bicycle in the streets of London. An article, so we've got another article, published in a magazine, 1896. Okay, so we're going to be comparing these views. Now again, you can probably imagine the kind of things we were talking about. In 1896, bikes were reasonably new. Right, the streets weren't set up for bikes whatsoever. In 2016, more has been done to make cycling something which people can do on the streets. Okay. Now, before we go and read these, we want to do our prep. So, as always, we want to read each question, think about what we have to do for that question, and then mark out our paper to help us hit the stuff. Okay. So, let's begin, please. Question 1. Turn the page. So read against the first part of source A from lines 1 to 10. Underline please. Choose 4 statements below which are true. So go to source A. Okay, so there we go. Lines 1 to 10. There we go. Okay, that is question 1. True / false. Okay. Easy. Easy 4 marks for us. Okay. Right. Question number 2. So question number 2 is always the same, right? It is always obsessed with, what's the word? Facts. Thank you. Right. So please write it here. Facts. Okay. This is what I call the Wikipedia question. Okay. It does not care for the writer. It does not care for the argument. It is about facts, like an encyclopedia. Okay. You need to refer to both source A and B, always. Both sources describe the similar ways in which drivers behave. Drivers. Use details from both sources to write a summary of what you understand about the similar behaviours of the drivers. Now don't be confused, right? We are looking for differences. So it's likely that the drivers are bad in both sources. But remember, we're looking for the differences. Okay. So you might say that both drivers are bad. However, in source A, these are bad in this way. In source B, they're bad in this way. Okay. So remember, the structure of this, what we need is we want to have. So we're having two paragraphs. Okay. One on source A. One on source B. Okay, and our paragraph structure goes like this. So we begin with a summary point. So we would say in source A, we learn that in source A, we learn that. So we talk about what the drivers are like. We summarize what the drivers are like in source A. Okay, we then want to embed two quotations, okay, that show us that, and we want to do inference. Okay, so again, the idea of the inference is what it suggests. Okay, so we start with the facts, and then we go into what those facts suggest about that world. Okay, about the drivers. Okay. So again, the key thing is always to keep it focused on this thing. Okay. There's two ways people fail this question. The first one is that they don't focus on what they've been asked to focus on. Oops. The second one is that they don't do the right style. Okay. So I'm going to add up here, please. We've got to check. Okay. Number one is the focus. Number two is the style. Okay? Focus and style. Again, that's the way people lose marks. They do the wrong focus. They write about the cyclists rather than the drivers. They do the wrong style. So make sure you highlight what you're being asked to write about. Okay? Then what we do, go to our copies of this. Okay, we want to make sure we write down some notes. So you can choose where you do it, maybe the end of the source. So here you want to write down question 2, right? And the focus is the drivers, right? And specifically, their behaviour. Okay, turn over to source B, do the same thing. So again here, question 2, drivers, okay, and again their behaviour. Okay, good. So now when we read these sources through, we can try and find quotations and make this point early on. Okay. Right, question number 3. Turn the page, please. So question 3 is our language question. Our language question. Oops. Now again, they will ask you to focus on different parts. This one today is source B. So you need to refer to source B. So always one source. It could be A or B. Okay, so please be careful. Lines 8 to 18. Okay. How does the writer use language? So again, with language, we're talking about words and we're talking about imagery. Okay. Imagery is things like metaphors, similes, any techniques that use language to create images, okay, to help you see things. To describe her first experiences of cycling. Her first experience of cycling. Okay. So again, be careful of the focus. It is a reading exam. If you write about the wrong focus, you will not get marks. Okay. So the structure of this, we want to begin with a point. Okay, so we're going to write one paragraph for this. Okay, we're going to have a point / an argument where we explain here. Now remember, for this, we want to go for a multi-layer point. Okay, so don't just tell me one thing about her experience. Tell me a couple of things. It was both this, it was this, but also this. Right? She found it exciting, but also really scary. Okay, so we're trying to make sure it's multi-layered. that will get you perceptive. If you just say it was fun, that might be true, but it doesn't show any depth. Okay? We then want to have 3 methods. So that might be a word, it might be an image. Okay, so 3 methods that support that. Okay, and again we want to analyze each method, and we're looking for, again, multiple effects. Okay, the way to get perceptive, though it's very, very hard, is to write more effects. So multi-layer points, multi-layer effects. Okay, again, go back to your source, find the lines. They always are quite helpful with this. You'll notice that they tend to like put the specific ones here. Okay, question 3. Question 3. Okay, first experience of cycling. Yep. So again, as we read source B, we want to try and plan that as we go. Okay. Right, question number 4. Question 4. 16 marks. 16 marks. This is the big one. Okay. So again, it will always be both sources. So for this question, you need to refer to the whole of source A, the whole of source B. Compare how the writers convey their similar perspectives on cycling in the city. Now again, even though it says similar, we are looking for differences. We're looking for differences. Okay. So if question 2 is about facts, question 4 is about opinions. Oops. Okay. Opinions. So I'm interested in what they think, what their views are. Okay. So this one is about viewpoints. Okay. It is the writer question. So it's just like literature, right? What's the writer arguing? What does the writer wants to think and feel as they read it? Okay. So again, our answer must include their perspectives on cycling in the city. Notice the city part. Compare the methods that they use, and support the response with references to the text. Okay, references means quotations. Okay, so for our answer to this, remember, we need to have, because it's a big answer, lots of marks, we're looking for four paragraphs. Okay, 2 on source A, 2 on source B. Okay, when we write them, we alternate. So we go A to B, back to A, back to B. Okay. For each paragraph, we need to do a couple of things. So first of all, each paragraph must have a point. Okay, and the point must be the what and the why. So what are they arguing, and why are they arguing it? Okay, so through source A, the writer argues that riding in the city is very dangerous. Why? To try and change the government's attitude towards helping cyclists. Okay, it's the what and the why. Okay, and again, we're focusing really importantly on the purpose. Okay, what are they trying to make their audience think and feel? Okay. What we then want to do after that is we want to do 2 methods. Okay, 2 methods. And again, we're looking for multiple effects. If you're trying to get perceptive, multiple effects. Okay. So we want, for each source, we want two arguments. So 2 things they're saying. Okay. Two things they're saying about cycling. So let's go back to source A. So again, at the end of the source, use the space. So question 4. Okay. So we're looking for opinions on cycling in the city. Okay, and again we want to have space for two things. So number 1, just there. Number 2, just there. Okay. Maybe we can even put bullet points for our quotes that we'll do, perhaps. Turn over to source B, do the same again. Question 4. Okay, so we've got again opinions, cycling in the city. Opinion number 1. Opinion number 2. And again, we can do our quotes. Okay, so that fully sets you up for how to do section A. Okay, now the idea now is that you want to read both those sources. You probably have about 5 minutes per source, maybe a little bit more, maybe sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes. And as you read it, you're trying to find all the stuff that you need. So if we go back to source A, please. Back to source A, please. You can see your article. Okay, ignore the true and false for now because that's pretty quick to do. But we want to try and read it through. We're looking for quotations that show the driver's behaviour and quotes that show the opinion on cycling in the city. Okay, and the idea is to try and get all of that planned out before we do any answering. Then you do source B, and again, read it through. For source B, you've got to plan out what you do for question 3, quotes for the driver's behaviour, and opinions on cycling in the city. Okay. Once you've planned out all of your answers, you can then go back to your exam and you can start answering. Okay. Start with question 1, or question 2, 3, and 4. The idea is that if you plan it all out first, you'll save time from going back and forth between the extract and your answers.